former Queensland Red superstars Aiden Toa and Jalen Murphy. Lads, how are we?
People, yeah, mate, good, really good.
Very, very excited to be here, obviously.
Bit nervous?
A little bit nervous. On our bench, the battlers, the gruesome twosome, Big Fat Darcy, Ryan Fellini.
Fellow Terration, mate.
What do I ask you? I don't really have a question, mate. I love you, mate.
Yo, ma! And welcome to the PAC Show, proudly brought to you by the Pig Athletic Club and DoubleTake Studios, the show that brings you all the highlights, the lowlights, the reviews, the previews, the news and the interviews of rugby here in Australia and around the world. My name's J-Ball, and joining me tonight, no DOS, but we do still have Dow to bring some form of legitimacy to the show. And unfortunately, all that legitimacy, once again, is going to be completely undone because the gruesome twosome are back once again. Big Fat Darcy and Ryan Freedy.
Konnichiwa!
Why aren't we allowed to sit up there, by the way?
That's what I was thinking.
We don't want to sit up there.
We were actually going to, Zach and I were saying, we were going to set it up and then start the show. They'd be like, actually, and then bring Freens up and let him sit there and you sit by yourself.
Okay.
But we won't do it.
Nah.
Let's not.
Good to see you, though,
You would have been uninvited, just like my wedding. Yeah, it's good to see you, Freens. How you doing?
Yeah, I felt better. I just went for my first gym session in about 2 months. I like to donate to local businesses. Sorry, Dal, I'll start donating to yours, but just came back from the gym and, God, nearly had a heart attack.
How was your first session back at Jeeps last week?
Mate, to be honest, I came back from Hawaii and I was half Masubi, half Truly Seltzer, and actually chuck a little bit of Indo clove cigarette in there. Well, my lungs feel like the Bruce Highway. She's no good. But, mate, it was probably the second worst training session I've ever had in my entire life. And, you know, obviously the boys from Soft, they like their fitness. And we had to buy, so far out, mate. The only worst one is from when you come back from the Thailand tour, but yeah, this one was pretty bad. Yeah, I was well at the back. Just, I felt, yeah, I think I've said it before, I felt like one of those fish on the embankments when just like, I was not moving fast.
We actually have a photo of you at the wedding, and did you say it was in Hawaii?
Yeah.
I thought it was in the Sahara, because Zach, if you do the next photo, there's a camel toe right there. What happened there, mate? Did your mum cut the lunch for you, or?
Oh, that's actually a good chat because we well, not only did we got tailored suits.
Yeah,
right?
we can see that.
We got tailored suits.
Go back, Zach.
Keep it on there.
No, yeah, keep it on there. All right.
So not only it's a moose knuckle. So technically, I'm not in the Sahara Desert, you idiot.
True.
I'm in Northern
Canada,
America.
North America.
But yeah, we got tailored suits. As you can see, mine fits all right. But my original suit, we did our tailoring over Zoom, mate.
That didn't work out.
I honestly felt like an albatross. If you guys don't know about the albatross, they've got the longest, widest wingspan in the entire universe. I think it's like 2 meters or something, but it felt like my shoulder pads were 2 meters wide. I felt like I was that Kanye West film clip, you know, that song. Anyway,
Gold Digger?
Yeah, I highlighted it with...
It's like you pulled your jacket up. Yeah.
Sorry. So what happened was, Isaac goes, when we're getting dressed, surprise, guys, you're wearing suspenders. And I was like, oh, okay.
Oh.
Yeah,
it's
so
briefing up.
I put them on, not knowing what they were doing to me. But hey, I'll run with it.
No, you can't run with that. That'll sting.
I noticed a bit later on that I should have loosened them earlier. But that was about after all the photos. So
well, your voice sounds fine, and you're here. You made it here alive.
Yeah.
Little COVID scare before you left, but anyway, we're all good now.
Let's not get into that. How good a supervised rap test?
Apparently, didn't even know that was.
Anyway, yeah. So just to FYI, if you're a thick lad and you're wearing suspenders, loosen them up a bit. And it was social suicide wearing white pants anyway. The only ones I could find were off-white and everyone else is wearing white. I've just fucking, sorry for swearing, but just really stitched myself up.
It's so intense.
Yeah, man. I was going to like try
such an aggressive part of your nutsack.
I know. I should have cropped it more, but I thought, fuck it. I thought it was just going to be a bit of a lull and even hashtag camel toe, so. Get a lol. You know, you get a lol at yourself, don't you reckon, boys?
You do.
Yeah. Anyway,
Man.
it was a good holiday, guys. Thanks for asking.
Oh, man. All right. What a hectic start to
So
the
I
show,
better cover
man.
my moose knuckle now. 'cause these pants are
Yeah.
a bit tight.
Lucky you're wearing all black, man. It's a bit different. But, oh, man, it's such an intense start to the show. But we've got a massive show coming up. Finally, third time's a charm. We've got the Super W winning skipper from the Tars. Grace Hamilton's going to be joining us after a gym session this evening. We're going to be reviewing all the action from QPR and Shoot Shield and Super Rugby from the weekend as well. We've got our Batless Bench segment, which Big Fat Das has kept under wraps, so that you can expect some super weird shit.
That's right.
But without further ado, it's time for PAC News. It's time for PAC News.
It is the pack, Zach.
It's time for PAC News.
It is time for PAC News.
All right, well, let's get straight into PAC News.
What an intro.
How good is that? We've not talked about one bit of rugby yet.
All right, let's get straight into PAC News. And obviously, massive story over the weekend. Oh, Anthony Albanese, our new Prime Minister. Freeney, you must be absolutely chuffed.
Mate.
And David Pocock.
Mate, David Pocock. Oh, yeah. Look, we're run by bogans now. Congratulations, you idiots.
No, that's obviously not the big news. I knew that was going to get you going a
you
little
got
bit.
me.
But
You got me good.
No. Straight off the bat, there was an article written on Fox Sports where Knuckles Connolly had a pretty bad fall last year, and they had a function over the weekend, and Wayne Bennett and Andrew Slack were there, and they both sort of commented that the rules are killing the game. Essentially, they're saying that, you know, we've got to get with the times, and as Wayne Bennett says, be a part of the entertainment age. Obviously, in relation to sort of what you see with rugby league and AFL, rugby union, it's now coming from outside the sport as well and inside. Dow, what are your thoughts in regards to these comments? Do you think there needs to be a pretty drastic change in regards to the rules to try and engage the audience a bit more?
I don't know necessarily about the rules, but I obviously think they've overhauled a little bit. The 50-22 is a great rule. You know, the goal line dropout, all that kind of stuff over the last couple of years has been fantastic. My gripe with it is going back. You know, once a play's happened, then they go back and, we're going to pull this back because there's
Don't get me started on the TMO.
So that's the big thing. So with the TMO, as we've discussed before, for me, it shouldn't be dealt with then. If they've missed it, great. They've missed it. Game goes on. Cite it. Report it. Bang. Deal with it later.
There's 3 referees on the field. If they don't see something, then clearly it wasn't that dangerous.
Correct.
I thought one thing I read that was pretty cool. I reckon the restart. So you got like 2 repacks of the scrum. Third one's a short arm. Whatever.
I think it was 1 restart, 1 repack, and then after that, half arm straight away. I mean, that's something.
It'd be good, but Jesus Christ, the fatty's trying to get back. There'll be a fair few not back 5 meters and just taking out that halfback. Just, you know what I mean? I can get my hands on him.
It takes us back to the original NRC, Das, and you would have been around back then.
All the old quick taps.
Where everything was a short arm.
Yeah,
all the penalties were gone off short
it was
arms and
outside of deliberate infringements and foul play.
And it was
Everything else
just
was a half
so
arm, and that was
fast.
around 2010.
20.
Was that good? I can't remember the.
It was like 2008
2008.
2008 to 2011 or something like
Yeah.
that, and then they
Go,
scrapped
go,
it.
go.
But mate, it was an awesome game. It was hard to adjust, but then once you
Quick
did,
taps everywhere, yeah.
it was awesome. I think that would be absolutely massive to be able to
I
bring
think
that back.
I think that. But then, you get rid of some of the fatties. It'd be hard. It'd be hard trying to get back.
Or do we see more of an evolution like in rugby league over the last 10 to 15 years? Everyone becomes similar size, so you lose the bigger guys. Everyone becomes a lot
giant
fitter.
guys,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And everyone comes a lot faster, and that starts to happen. Obviously, you're still going to need tall guys, but maybe everyone just evolves
Everyone
and
be a
becomes
bit more
fitter and
leaner.
stronger. Yeah.
I can juice everyone up and just go full gladiator styles.
Imagine that could be one rule you bring in. Every team is allowed one dude. Who
One
just
juicy
gets
dude.
loaded up.
One juice dude.
I think
but
Johnny Brown mentioned that on the PAC podcast. It's like
Did he?
one guy on every team is juiced to the gills. Yeah,
No.
like everyone else is clean except that one guy is like superhuman
Stay away
freak.
from him. No, but I reckon. Yeah, I reckon what you said. I reckon to try and speed it up and get the ball moving a bit more, make it more interesting, and and getting the play faster and stuff like that. I think it has something has to happen. I don't know what it is.
Well, one stat that came out was the AFL has about 80 minutes of ball in
Yep.
played. Rugby league has 60 odd, and we have just over 30.
That's
So that's a
insane.
pretty distinct difference between those three codes. One thing that is really good, and I think this is obviously an indication of the obvious, well, at least looking into investing in the grassroots, is re-implementing the Australia A program, Dow, something that has been around for nearly 15 odd years, but an opportunity now for the guys between that Super Rugby and Wallabies level to get a bit more game time.
Yeah, and that's it. We need more game time at a higher level. So I think it's a great concept. You know, it'd be great if there was even more games, but you know, it's going to have young guys coming through. Take for instance to someone like Josh Fluke. Obviously, he's playing good footy. Gives him an opportunity at that next level. See how he goes, and then you get on with it.
Do you reckon if you're playing for Australia A, that qualifying for the eligibility of other countries and stuff should be in a factor? Like if you're playing for Australia A, or do you reckon?
So that's it. As soon as you play for Australia A, you're captured.
Yep.
So you're done. So you are qualified for Australia. That's just the way it works. And that's obviously the part of the tool they're using it for as well. You know what I mean? They're trying to capture guys.
And one of the best things for it is the fact that it's not just players, but it's coaches. There's Jason Gilmore's the head coach. You've got Toddy from the Reds and Saibi from
Parling.
the Brumbies and Jeff Parling from the Rebels as the assistant coaches. So awesome opportunity
that's cool.
for everyone to be able to get some of that higher honours. And one thing I wanted to discuss, and sort of relating back to, you know, we'll get to it later on, but this whole Giddo law thing. Big Fat Das was saying we need to become mercenaries. No, that was you, friends, actually. We need to be mercenaries to get everybody back. But the Giddo law at the moment is 3 players can come back, but we've seen a rash of signings for long-term signings as well. Nick Frost has turned his back on Japan. Noah Lalasio's locked in. Nick White's got a long-term contract. The Reds over the last 2-3 years have been doing long-term contracts themselves. Do you think the fact that obviously we've got the World Cup and all this and the British Irish Lions coming up, Dow, this is probably what is going to maybe bring some of those players back to Super Rugby?
Yeah, we've talked about it the last couple of weeks. You know, it's a golden era in professional rugby in Australia over the next 6, 7, 8 years. I feel like it's a real draw card for people. A home World Cup is massive, and there's going to be some money in the game. So things will start to happen over the next couple of years. And even with the British and Irish Lions tour, I don't think a lot of players kind of thought about that until maybe this year or next year. And all of a sudden they got their sights on that. These are all things that people want to achieve, and there's a lot of that involved.
You're obviously involved in the player management side of things. Do you think, I know, especially at the Reds with the guys you manage, they've all, guys like Fraser McWright and Harry Wilson, you talk to them and they are diehard Wallabies and Reds players. Is that the sort of feeling that you're getting from the younger guys at the other clubs? I don't know if you know too well, but does it feel like that's the sort of culture that's being brewed in Aussie rugby?
Yeah, I think so. I think obviously there's individuals that just want to go and play professional footy, but there seems to be a lot more of that care and wanting to achieve things with Australian rugby. And I feel like that's being instilled from the top down. Some good coaches involved now, like Dan McKellar and Darren Coleman and Thorny up here. There's some really good coaches in and around that space who are trying to instill that in their players.
That's nice.
I reckon I'm going to backfoot what I said about the mercenaries, but I agree with you, Dale. I reckon you're sort of getting that vibe, that All Black sort of vibe where people want to stay and they want to sort of prove themselves and stay here for the jersey, which is, I don't think, hasn't been around for a long time.
Hasn't been there for 15 years, you'd say.
Yeah, and the group of players that are coming through, just fantastic.
Fantastic. Well, friends,
Yep.
this Friday, Tonga squad's getting announced. First time since the new eligibility rules. Do you think there's going to be a few choice signings in there?
Yes, I think there is, mate. I was talking to my cousin Charles Piuto last week. He told me that him, Fekidoa, everyone eligible. Israel Folau, you coming back here to high ball to him? He's going to catch, score the try.
No, he's I reckon hopefully all the people that are eligible can go and are going to suit up for the boys and go. Mate, it'd be awesome.
Surely Fekitoa and Charles Piutau, they're not playing for the All Blacks ever again. You can't.
I actually saw Peter play for Bears on the weekend, and he scored an awesome try. He's still got it.
He's pretty good, man.
And then you got likes of Folau and that, and I reckon they only really needed backs, didn't they?
Yeah.
Their forwards are always awesome. So I'm excited. Hopefully it goes across the whole of the Pacific teams, and Samoa get good turnout, and Fiji, or they just ridiculous anyway. So.
Yeah, they're ridiculous as it
But
is,
look,
mate. So.
the guys that just produce, like even the Drua, you've got like Hambosi and you've got the other fella from Moana Pacifica. He was out of control too, that other winner.
Tavanawai.
Yeah, Tavanawai. He was out of control.
Mate,
it's going to be... I'm pumped for the next World Cup.
Mate, it is going to be red hot, mate. If not the next one, the one after that's going to be ridiculous when they've had sort of a 4-year cycle altogether, mate. It's going to be absolutely mental.
Yeah,
Speaking of...
Yes.
What's up?
But yes, the Tonga team's going to be Tika, as I would say over there, mate.
Yeah, so I'm...
Means good.
Okay, yes, it is going to be Ticker or whatever you said. Big Fat Das. It's word on the grapevine that we're going to have QC, Samu Krevi, and Marika Koroi Betty back for the English squad, English tour. Mm-hmm. They're going to be getting in the squad. What are your thoughts on that, Big Fat Das?
Mate, in regards to this Giddo law, how there's always these 3 guys already locked in. What if the squad
needs someone else?
More of a... Obviously... You know, you're not going to go past those 3 guys.
Well, one of the big things is that they've actually
restricting.
already negotiated with their clubs for them to be released.
Yeah.
Because the finals this weekend, I think the Japanese League 1 final, and Quade Cooper's Kintetsu Liners qualified by winning
They got promoted, eh?
Div 2 last weekend. That's why he's in LA with the Giltinis.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, it's literally it's a business transaction.
Was it the end of last year when McMahon and a couple of those other players joined the squad, played 2 or 3 games, and we started getting momentum, and then all of a sudden had to be withdrawn to go back to club. So that
they were only available for those.
Yeah,
if I'm correct. Yeah,
I think the Wallabies need to make a harder call on that kind of thing, like because for them to like, I think it must suck everything out of the players when 2 or 3 of your guys are just all of a sudden just had to leave. And you guys started building a squad and then they're gone. Jay Will's just texting.
I'm texting Grace just to let her know that we're good to go. She was on the call, then she thought she might have joined in the live show. I'm just going to let her know she's all good. So keep talking
she thought she was on.
Yeah. So she was like, oh, shit.
Oh, what are we doing?
I hope no one steals my questions tonight, by the way, with Grace. What about, like last time I just panicked again. Panic station. What were you saying?
So you're not going to panic this time?
I hope not.
I hope not.
I hope not. I'm too tired to panic, I think.
Yeah, just let it flow, man. Let it flow.
Yeah.
But yeah, do you reckon there needs to be an overhaul then, Big Fat Das, of the law?
I think 3 is too restricting with the amount of guys that are already over.
But I think the young guys we've got coming through, I think they're good enough as well.
Well...
how's my form? I just totally backflipped on what I said before.
Mercenaries.
Going against you.
That's the only way to
Fuck
forward.
you, Das.
Mercenaries.
3 is enough, mate.
3 is more than enough. 2.
Sorry, man.
That's fine.
Alrighty. Stop the bickering. All right. Well, that rounds out PAC News. We've got it back on the blower. Super W Tars Premiership winning skipper. Not from this year, obviously, but the last couple of years. Sorry to bring that up for you, Grace. I'm sure that's a bit of a sore point, but it's Grace Hamilton, everybody.
Woo! Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. We lost you there for a little bit before you came live, so you're all good. You're on the blower now, but thanks very much for joining us. We know you've been flat out. We've been trying to get you on the blower for a few weeks, but I mean, you guys have, the girls have had their first couple of tests for the first time in 3 years. You must be absolutely chuffed to finally be back on the pitch.
Yeah, look, it's been a long time between games. So, yeah, we were stoked to get out there and get some test matches under the belt.
Grace, Dallin here. How you going? How's the preparation going leading into the World Cup? What does the next kind of couple of months look like for you guys, and how's the I guess the morale amongst the group?
Yeah, good. We go to actually up to the Gold Coast on Friday for a little bit of camp before we head to New Zealand. Play the New Zealand, the USA, and Canada. So pretty tough test matches coming up. So I think anyone will attest to that. We have to bring the next level. Losing to Japan probably wasn't the best thing for us, but yeah, we'll be looking forward to it.
Awesome. And who's the big, I guess, fish in this World Cup? Who's the team to beat? Is it New Zealand?
No, I think it's England now.
England.
Oh gosh, I've just lost an AirPod. Yeah, England. England is so good right now. So England and probably France.
Well, England are nearly 20-odd games on the trot, aren't they? And they deleted the Kiwi side in 2 consecutive
Portia
matches.
Woodman getting literally in and away by the England winger of one of the tests.
I know. But they do have Wayne Smith now. So New Zealand have just recruited Wayne Smith in there. So I'm sure he'll be able to turn them around in no time.
Wow. Good. Yes, so Grace Freeney here. How are you?
Good, thank you.
That's good. Yeah, so with that Japanese test, that was they were relentless, weren't they? Did anyone expect that?
We did watch them play Fiji, so we should have really expected that. But just their skills, their catches, their passes right in front, they're always running into the ball. And us going wide didn't help us in any way. So we really should have gone through them.
Yes. Yeah. Also, few big personalities in the Wallaroos camp. Who would be the biggest pest or character?
And why is it Laurie Kramer?
Yeah, it might be her, to be fair. But actually, a girl that was in there who you didn't see, who was in there for rehab, Maya was in there. Yeah. Maya Stewart was in there just for the laughs. So I definitely will miss her because she's not coming on the next tour. I actually just spoke to her and I was like, what am I going to do? Who's going to make us laugh?
So last question. Sorry, I just cut you off, didn't I? Well, you said Maya. I panicked again, didn't I, boys?
Freeney's new to this. Sorry, Grace. He's very new to this. You're not the first one he's been awkward.
Yeah, I've literally dropped the ball every week.
Every single time.
You didn't pick the ball up.
I don't know, mate. Sorry, mate. Yeah. Anyway, so with the new test series, obviously, who's going to be the hardest? Is it New Zealand still, or is America or anyone going to be a bit of a random one thrown in the mix?
I don't know. I think New Zealand will be tough, but Canada, played them. I haven't played them since the last World Cup. They were quite relentless then. And they get around their girls. They a bit of support around their country. So I think they'll be pretty good too.
Hopefully you girls get to go to Europe or something and tour against, England or France. Those crowds are insane, aren't they?
I know, but the issue is everything we play this year is in New Zealand. I would love it if it was in the UK.
Yeah.
Grace, big fat Dars here. In 2020, you played down at the Roosters. Did you ever meet Jared Warrea-Hargraves? And is he as angry in person as he looks like during game day?
I actually didn't because there was a bit of COVID around at the time. They kept us pretty separate.
He's probably pretty angry.
I know, but I trained in their gym. I have heard some stories about him.
Go on, this is what we want. More stories.
No, they wanted me to channel they were channel your inner him, and I was like, I don't know if I can be him.
Gotta get a Kiwi accent first, and then
yeah.
Oh, cheer, boo. Well, that actually segues into what I wanted to ask you, Grace. We've seen just recently Millie Boyle. She was obviously an Aussie representative in rugby union. She recently won the Player of the Year for the NRLW this season, and just this week, alongside Tamika Upton, has signed a $100,000 contract with the Newcastle Knights. There's been a huge expansion in the NRLW as well as the AFLW, with $26 million in the AFL game being pumped into salaries for players. I mean, there's no denying that there's a huge disparity in payment between the NRLW, Super W, and AFLW. I want to get your thoughts on it, seeing the growth of the women's game in those two codes compared to, I guess, financial growth in Super W. Does that, for lack of a better term, make it harder to stay in the game, considering?
Yeah, I think so. I actually had, straight after that, I had breakfast with Millie the day after. And we were talking about it. I was like, the last game we played at Wallaroos, she was involved. And I was like, and then we've only just played one more. And she was just like, she is a big supporter of rugby league and wants everyone to go to rugby league. But I don't know, the girls that are in union at the moment want to stay in union. I just hope that Australian rugby gets around the girls to, actually put them in a financial place where they can stay in the game, because the amount of money league and AFL are giving girls now is life-changing. And I think it's more like that could be a house deposit or something like that. Like, it will change your life, especially in women's sport. So I'm hoping we'll get there. And I think with the World Cup now being in Australia, there definitely will be pumping some more resources into the women's game. I just hope it's faster than it has been.
bloody oath, because, I mean, you can only play for so long for a free sausage roll and a Powerade. Bloody hell.
I guess they got the one thing they can tour around the world a bit more than the league players. So
If you're making $100,000 a year,
Yeah.
you can buy your own ticket to Hawaii for us.
Mate, take it to Hawaii.
To be fair, their World Cup is in England this year, so they were saying that.
I'll eat
They were
my
like,
hat.
You guys could just all come play that.
But I mean, outside of that, I mean, we've seen players like Emma Tonegado go over to the game. Charlotte Kaslik and Elliot Green also went over. Do you think, like, we saw the investment in the Aussie Sevens side about 5 or 6 years ago, and the girls obviously went on to get that Olympic gold. Do you think that's something that, with the right investment, the Aussie women's side could start matching it alongside the English and the Kiwis and stuff on a very regular basis?
Yeah, definitely. I just think that, the investment has to be there. And the English Premier League right now, like, they're already, like, calling girls over here to come play with them next year. And for us girls, it's a massive opportunity to be able to stay in the game and go play overseas. It's huge. Like, we never thought we'd have that opportunity. So I definitely think a few girls will be playing in that English Premier League next year. But, I don't know. Like, I think it's just got to happen quickly, and it's got to happen from the top. And if we don't do it quickly, then I think we'll lose a lot of girls, which is not something we want to do.
Yeah, agreed.
Having been a part of both systems and the NRL and now obviously the Australian Rugby Union, what do we as a code need to do in that space besides the investment of money? Like, what is the NRL, I guess, let's say that they're the cornerstone. What does the Australian Rugby need to do to push the game and build the game?
I think it's just like getting the exposure out there. I think, like, I didn't realize that, like, the coaching and the programs are really quite similar in what you do, but there was just so much exposure. Like, I live in Orange, a little country town, and there's more people. I've been playing rugby union for 10 years, and there's more people know me now because I played for the Roosters for 3 games than I have, like, in 10 years. So it's like, it's just wild, the exposure, and they just keep, even though it's a short competition, they just keep giving girls a voice and a platform to be an athlete within Australia. And I think that's something we definitely can push better within union as well.
They definitely got around the girls a lot more in the league, didn't they? It's like literally the same playing field. There wasn't like any disparity at all, really, like with the exposure and stuff, wasn't there? Do you reckon for the World Cup they might have a couple of ring-ins from the league?
I actually have been like, girls, come play with us. Because a lot of the girls playing league now are actually from union backgrounds.
Yeah,
so
100%.
I don't know if they will. I think it's a bit tough because it clashes a little bit this year. But I always say that, like, I'm like the Sevens girls, spoken to a few of them. I know a few of them will probably come back, which is good. But I don't know if anyone will come for league, but I'm definitely open to it.
Like Ivani Polides and Tonegado, so you could probably, you wouldn't say no, would you? If they came back to union, they're carving in league.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know. I wouldn't say no to a lot of people, so we'll see.
Me neither. Well, Grace, as well, I wanted to get your thoughts. You've got the Pacific 4 coming up. As you said, you haven't played too many Wallaroos tests, but you've got 4 tests coming up. You've got a World Cup at the end of this year. You haven't played for 3 years. Do you think the lack of games compared to sort of the Northern Hemisphere code is also a major issue?
Yeah, it's like wild to think about. I think Liz Partu became the most capped Wallaroo, and she's got 25 games under her belt. And you've got the English team girls; they've got 150 games. Like, they're running out to 150 games, and Wallaroos have played 54, I think. So, there's a massive disparity. Yeah, that's ever. So it's like this massive disparity of us and around the world, and just we need to play more games, and that's why COVID happened at the worst time for us, because it was like we were about to.
It was starting to build, wasn't it?
9 matches a year, yeah, and then it kind of just was like, all right, well, no, now you can't play, but this year we play a lot, but it's just unfortunate that the World Cup is literally within reaching distance, and we've only just started playing games. So it'll be tough, but
not taking anything away from the Japanese effort in the win there, but I think that's like proof that you need to play more tests. You need to get that game time and combinations together. To put your best foot forward. Like I said, not putting anything against the Japanese, but if you're not playing for 3 years, that affects the girls' preparation like crazily, especially in the World Cup year.
Yeah, we were the only nation actually last year. So everyone else went on a Northern Hemisphere tour. We were the only nation that didn't go up in that that qualified. So like Japan was over there, New Zealand, and every other country apart from us. So I think that it was a really hard pill to swallow for a lot of us because we were like, we wish we were there, but we've just got to take it with a grain of salt now and just kind of push forward. We'll play New Zealand 3 times before we verse them at Eden Park in the World Cup. So we've got the Bledisloe Test match after this PAC 4 as well. So hopefully we'll know their tricks by then.
Yeah.
Sick. That's going to be red hot playing the Kiwis at Eden Park. One thing I wanted to get your thoughts on, Grace. I don't know if you saw, but a few weeks ago, Amanai Fasavalu from the Western Sydney 2 Blues, a mother of 13, I think it was, came out of retirement to play a footy match alongside 4 of her daughters, I think, against West Harbour Pirates. That's the sort of shit that is just so awesome to see within the women's game. Not so much just that there's 4 daughters playing, but they're second-generation women's players. Like that right there is something that, in my opinion, Rugby Australia, granted awesome. They did sort of put it as an article, but they should have been getting around Amanai and her family in a massive way. That's terrific.
100%. I actually didn't even know that. I wish I knew that. That's such a good story. But like things like that, like it's just unreal to see. And I was talking to Millie the other day, and she was like, in league, they've now put in a thing that girls like leave for having children and how they support girls coming back from having children. Just little things like that is like, I don't think we think about, like, there's definitely a certain time in our life. Like, I'm getting older. I'm like, there's that time where you're like, okay, do you go and have kids or do you play rugby or what do you do? Like, it's like, yeah, it's a really hard transition, I think, that definitely needs some more support around.
Bloody oath. Couldn't agree more. Well, I mean, look at what Emily Cherry's done. And now Alicia Quirk is in the same boat. They're both looking to come back on the comeback trail. It's got to be absolutely monumental for them. And, it's got to be difficult enough, let alone not being paid to do it. So, I mean, hopefully we can start getting the girls getting cash. It'd be awesome.
Yeah, it'd be awesome to see. But, there's good stories that we need to get around in the women's game. And I think that's something that we really can dig into, get those girls the exposure and great stories. Positive stories around rugby is what we need.
Exactly right.
Damn straight. Bless you, Grace. Wonderful. It's been awesome to finally get you on the blower. It's been 3 or 4 weeks in the making, but it's great to have finally had you on the blower to get your thoughts on it. It's been absolutely terrific, and we cannot wait to cheer you and the girls on at the PAC 4 in the World Cup later on this year. So all the best with it. We'll chat to you very shortly.
Yeah, the girls.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I thought I'd get stitched up a bit more. That's just great.
Don't worry. Once you get off the line, we're going to start throwing shit behind your back.
I had some questions, but I panicked.
No more questions. Let's stitch up. Actually, Ryan's got 12 more questions for you. Go.
No, I'm getting nervous now.
Thanks very much, Grace.
Thanks for having me, guys.
All the best.
Thank you. See you.
Bye.
Wonderful. Grace Hamilton, everybody.
Woo! Yeah, the girls.
I hope Millie paid for breakfast, right?
Yeah, hopefully.
That was my next question. She's gone.
Oh,
can you imagine if she did?
That NRL money, right?
Yeah.
Extra egg and bacon.
Yeah. And halloumi.
Yeah.
Whoa! Yes.
Hell yeah. No, that's awesome though, man. And it's good to finally get her on the blower because it's a big year coming up for the girls, but at the same token, like as she said, COVID couldn't have come at a worse time for
54 tests
54 tests total.
And Liz Patu has nearly played half of all of the
like as a country, like that's insane. Like Australia, we've been playing rugby forever. Like
it's a pretty big indictment.
Yeah,
you'd have to say.
I think the little things like having the Super W on a bloody training night when not everyone's going to go there in the middle of Parramatta. Little things like that.
Not
they
just
need
a
to
training night, the night before a long weekend, the Easter long weekend, yet all the Shoot Shield teams were still playing. So they were training.
Yeah, exactly. No one's going to, And not only that, you see the league women's, like that is just packed.
As she said, more people know her for 3 games for the Sydney City Roosters instead of her captaining the national side. at a World Cup.
Surely they can tweak a few things and just make it a bit, get the exposure out there a bit more.
Got to tweak more than a few things, but
Yeah.
still, now
Positive.
it's time for the Battlers
Positive.
bench.
We don't have there's no thing.
Just roll the pack news.
Just
one
like the
again,
news
Zach.
one? Yeah. Just like you did last time. Yeah, that'll do.
How good is that? I like that.
Mate, he was on the ball with that one. In light of how well like Tate McDermott, Jake Gordon, Nick White have been playing, these halfbacks have been playing really, really well this season. I think I've got a video of this was the last time Tate McDermott and Nick White met before. No, not this one. Next one. Not this one. Zach, next one. Next one. This one's
Such a disgust.
yeah, this is next one. This is Nick White. Tate McDermott. This is before they last played. Look at the aggression these halfbacks.
So what's that, Tate in the blue?
I'll break them up. So this makes me.
And cut.
Look how far out there. Look how tight his hammies are. So that's. But with how well those three halfbacks have been playing this Super Rugby season, it makes me want to ask each and every one of you, what is the most the niggliest halfback you've either played with or against in your J-ball career? Like whether it or one of those guys that you're playing with, and then the other number 8 throws him out for being annoying. And
I've got one. Go.
go. You go, Brent.
Tim Smith.
Oh,
Mate, he was just yap. I'm like, just wait till I get you in a ruck, mate.
Did you ever get him though?
Oh yeah.
Oh, okay.
And in the same game, Gormo got him. I just wait till I see him in the bottom of ruck, mate. And then he's in the bottom of ruck, and he's just looking up. And what?
It's like that's why.
And then I saw the next one. I saw him. I would see Gormo at pillar or number 1 defender, and then he just gone, oh fuck it, and just grabbed him, just spear tackled him into the ground because he was just yapping. Yeah, oh, it was good. But yeah, it was good because the ruck went up and he was still there, and I was like, told you. It was like this. But yeah, Gormo got him so good.
J-ball.
Tim Usas was one.
Oh yeah.
That you would just sit on the sideline because he was a little bit before our time. But you'd sit on the sideline watching him play because he was a boarding master at Grammar when I was there, and he's 4 foot nothing, bleach blonde Russian looking dude, and he just chirps so hard as a boarding master in the boarding house. So he thought, oh, we'll go down and watch him play. And he just didn't shut up once.
There's nothing
eh?
Classic
There's nothing
halfback.
better though.
Just didn't shut up, and everyone you talk to was just like, I fucking hated him. Hated him.
I love that.
Dell.
McKibben.
Yeah, I was just.
No, McKibben.
And he's just in your face like.
He was,
And he was on your
aggressive as well,
he was on your team as
He
well.
was the best. He was unbelievable.
He was a bloody good footy player, and he was tough. Like
He was so tough.
he was so tough, and he just one of my favourite things to do is watch Nick White, me and Issy, and then watching Nick White getting dragged by Sotutu out of the ruck,
Yeah.
he's going,
And then throws his mouth guard.
And twirls his moustache as he's
I
going
mean,
down.
Issy cracking up. There's nothing better than just watching a niggly halfback. I saw a good one day. What was his name? Harry. He was playing Colts, and it was against East, Jeeps versus East, and I just kept the East halfback was trying to feed the ball in, and you see Harry standing on his feet.
Oh.
All of a sudden, boom! He's like, "What's that? What?
Where'd this come from?
Just those little dark hearts. There's nothing better to watch."
Oh,
Then I've just got a quick fire 5 questions. We're meant to have Scott Higginbotham here as well, join the panel.
Ex-ranger.
So I was going to ask to the both of you, but I'll just have to ask you, Dal. These are quick fire 5 questions, okay?
Yeah.
What crop is the area of Butterham known for?
Butterham.
can I guess it?
Butterham. You can guess.
Ginger.
Ginger, correct. Is Pinot Noir a red or a white wine?
Red.
Red. What is the fruit commonly brought on at halftime for junior rugby games?
Oranges.
What are the thin, hard, round, sweet and spicy brown Arnott's biscuits?
Ginger nut.
What is the... See, it doesn't work when Higgins isn't here as well because they're both Rangers. What is the group of former Queensland Reds called? Vintage Reds.
Vintage.
See, there's meant to be two Rangers.
That's good.
That
was good.
Thanks.
Boom.
That's it.
What, potato and gravy, that one?
Outro, Zach. Hit the outro.
That's good. That went better than I thought.
That went better than you thought?
I was supposed to make 5 questions too, but I just panicked.
Yeah,
Did you really? Is that what you whispered to him before we went? I was like,
Get your 5
and he goes, I did nothing. You just go. And I just laugh
I was
at
too
you.
busy like at the gym. Sorry.
I'll just laugh at them. And he did. He went,
I did.
That's
That's
the
good.
best one ever.
And they went better. I knew the questions, and they got better and better. That was good. Oh,
Dusty.
Sorry.
alrighty, now let's start reviewing all the action from the week gone by.
I think Dale's office. I reckon he's about 2 weeks till he quits.
When was he ever on us?
I don't know. Like, he got triggered.
Look at him sitting up there by himself like a loner.
so
Look at
bad.
him.
Yeah. Well, Doss has already left us.
Yeah.
Work commitment.
Yeah.
Sure,
Doss
mate.
has left the chat on WhatsApp. What a real piece of work. Sorry, keep going.
Alrighty, all the action from round 14, the penultimate round before finals. The Satyrs, we saw some big scores being put up. Satyrs 61, Drua 3. The Reds 34 over Moana Pacifica 22. Not the best game from the Reds, to be honest. The Chiefs 54, Force 21. Canes 45, Rebels 22. Brumbies 19, Blues 21.
That was
This one
absolutely... That hurt, that one.
Stinger.
Hurt so much, man.
I love watching the Brumbies this year. I've always liked watching them, but
This year they're especially good.
Yeah.
Well, that's 2 or 3 games against Kiwi opposition they could have won, which kills me. But Highlanders 20, Tars 32.
Boom.
The Tars.
We think boom
No,
or
boom.
boo?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
boom. Sorry, just to clarify, boom. Sorry.
Well, friends, you obviously liked it. The Tars,
Yeah,
they're
I love them.
on their way up well and truly, but the brand of footy they're playing is sublime.
So good. Yeah, mate, I'm a huge fan. I mean, I don't know what I just did there.
Was that you beating your meat?
No, but sorry. No, the Tars are on fire, mate. They're so good. They're so good. I'm loving it. The style of footy, we've said it week in, week out, has been absolutely outstanding to watch.
Well, they lost Izzy Parisi, so I would have thought so much of their punch in those outside channels was coming from him.
Mate,
But
we've got millions of centres at the moment. I don't know what's happening, but I love it.
well, I mean, back in the day, any Aussie Super Rugby side would lose a player of Izzy's sort of calibre,
fucked.
and yeah, they'd be screwed. But Dow seem to be able to take those players, put them into a position, and do the job very well.
Yeah, and they're playing really well together. But I think they've got some key guys in some key positions. So when they lose the odd one, you know what I mean? I know Izzy's a big part of that, but when you got someone who comes in and fills that spot, it doesn't make that big of a difference because they've got some good depth there now, and they're playing extremely well together, and they want to play for each other.
Highlanders aren't much chop either, though, are they?
Oh, they're not bad. They're
They're a
always
good side.
good, mate. They're always tough to play, but they're not that bad.
How good's Flau Fakatava, bud?
Oh, he's really good.
And they had the eligibility change for him to be able to be eligible for the All Blacks now instead of December this year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so the rule was, well, he's been there since he was 16, but the eligibility doesn't start till you're 18, and then 2 weeks after he turned 18, the rules changed. So they were able to then obviously get dispensation earlier this week for him to now be eligible for the All Blacks.
Yeah,
We
but
also have
who's
Brad
he
Weber,
better than?
TJ Perinara,
Yeah.
Finlay Christie, and Aaron Smith.
But who's he better than? I still
Yeah,
is it Finlay Christie. I reckon.
That's
Finlay
what I
Christie's
find
one of my
strange.
favourite.
I reckon
and,
Brad Weber's a
Brad
gun.
Weber, he's gun.
TJ's
I don't really
one of the leading try scorers in Super Rugby history.
Yeah, but he's as a
Granted,
halfback.
Flau Fakatava's only 21.
I just
But
don't know.
still, why?
I don't know who you're dropping to put him in.
Exactly right.
Because he's not even starting at the moment.
That's what I mean.
Right.
I think Aaron Smith looks old. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I think he's starting to slow down. He's still probably got a World Cup in him, but I think he's starting to slow down.
Yeah.
But I don't who you'd have
It's a weird one, especially with the whole.
unless they're just trying to capture him and then.
Yeah.
Well, they are.
cap him and then fuck him over.
Do you reckon Aaron Smith will play that, like maybe the last 15, 20 minutes, close out a game, kind of halfback, kind of a role?
Potentially, yeah.
He's,
Yeah, right.
he is that player. Hey,
Experience.
like he's
Yeah.
just got that pass.
Calm it down, boys, yeah.
Yeah, get that service.
He's got the most ridiculous pass I've ever seen in rugby. Like off the, it's bullshit. Hospital Cup round 5. South and East was postponed. Sunnybank 5 to West 24. Man, Sunnybank is shocking.
Doggies will take the win,
They
mate.
have
Come on, mate.
couple of the
Turn that frown
players
upside
you
down.
can- They're going, they go hard like Fenner and
Josh Fenner.
It's two of them.
Well,
yeah.
really well.
Josh Fenner and Neil McNamara. I
Yeah,
think.
Neil
Josh
Mac-
Fenner
Two
is
stood
actually
out, but
my
the-
rugby.
Absolutely.
Josh-
so he should be.
He was the best player on the field in
By
the losing
far.
side. He
Yeah.
is ridiculous.
Yeah,
mate.
he was awesome. He was
To
really
be honest, I reckon he should be in the Reds ahead of a few other players, if I'm brutally honest.
he's been pretty week in, week out good for years.
He's a gun,
Yeah.
and he's bulked up too.
Yeah, he
Look
has.
real meaty.
Yeah.
Love it.
Actually, Ned
Um,
Hannigan, no offense. No offense why I said that. But Ned Hannigan, he looks like he's bulked out a bit.
Handsome Ned.
Yeah. Just story.
How do you reckon his moose knuckle is? What are we getting at?
No, there's no point to that. What I've said.
Oh, okay.
Just looks like he's filled out a bit.
Good for him.
Yeah, good for him.
On you, Ned.
Sorry, I really fucked the show up.
It's not live. Don't worry about it.
Bond 38, Norths 13.
I
I feel so bad for Norths, man. I was loving them a couple of years ago, but they've just been.
Shouldn't have got rid of Fogs. That's all I'm saying.
I agree.
He was building. It's not a 3-year thing there. It's like
No.
a 5 to
But
8-year thing.
they were on the up under Fogues. Like, chatting to him, he's like, we had a no dickhead. It is actually Fogarty. His name's Nick Fogarty.
Yeah.
What?
Fogs.
Go.
What?
We got him.
Yeah, we got him. Well, at least he's smart.
Yeah.
We got him, boys.
Who calls him phone?
I do. And everyone, he actually
Fogues.
says it's what he's meant to be.
No one
He
calls him
does.
No one calls him Fogs.
Jay, it's not a thing.
His name is Nick Fogarty.
Yeah, and he's called
Everyone
Fogs.
calls him Fox.
I know.
Do
It's just his name's Nick Fogarty.
But anyway, at the time, you weren't going to North for an easy game.
Just ask Fogues, mate.
Every time I catch up with him, I always call him Fogs.
And he's like,
Hey,
who
Fogs,
is
what's
this?
going on? He looks around.
I quit. Anyway,
Yeah, always back in the day, whenever you went to Norths, whether they were competitive or not, it was always going to hurt. Like it was always going to be a physical game.
fuck mate,
And
I'm
then-
old and you're older.
And then Fogs was there, right?
Anyway, let's keep on. Sorry.
Fogues is a gun. Brothers 21, UQ 14.
That was a game I did not see Brothers winning, and that was
Yeah.
Michael
a good win in the
Wood.
wet.
Michael Wood, first Premier Grade game at tight head prop.
Absolutely.
I like it, Dow.
Scored a try. Yeah, he's obviously
At scrummaging,
transition.
scrummaging.
Transition.
He's
just
gone from
recently.
8 to 6 to 4 to 3.
Yeah.
Will be the easiest person to get sent off. That's all I'm saying.
First time Brothers have won at UQ since 2013.
Oh,
Really?
Yeah.
Huge.
Huge.
And I watched the game, and I'm like, okay, waiting for Uni to come back here.
yeah.
Never happened.
And they were pretty much at full strength. I was surprised.
they
like
were.
leading into the round because we lost the front row.
No Alex Davies.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right, Dal. That front row was very green.
Yeah, massively.
That was a good. That was a good. Good effort from Brothers.
I think Taylor Adams is making a real difference.
Easy gun.
Chirpy
mate.
little.
Yeah.
But yeah, he is good. He's good. He kicks, mate. He can for anywhere. He's just busy. He's just chirping every way all day, and he's just putting people in holes. You know what I
Easy
mean?
gun, mate. What are your thoughts on Michael Wood moving into tight head prop, Dow? Do you see long term that's something he
So we've all
could
seen
progress in?
we've all seen him obviously at his best when he was in the 20s and did all that kind of stuff. Extremely athletic, very fast, get around the park really well. If he puts his mind to it, I feel like he can be an elite level tight head prop.
Just needs to keep his
Yep.
head a bit.
Yeah, he does, but he's matured a lot in that space. Like, he's not necessarily losing his head. Like, when he played Super Rugby last year as a lock, had a really good game, carried the ball extremely well. He's put on, say 15 kilos. He's about 120, 125 kilos, something around there.
Yeah.
But if he can get the
Hey, mate,
scrummaging right...
It doesn't happen overnight.
I know that. It's got to be 2 to 3 years, so he's got to absolutely have a crack at it.
Is he still young?
Yeah, they're 23.
Same age as
Jesus
Fraser
Christ.
and Wilso.
Is he?
And he's got Tom Court, who obviously is
Cordy's the man.
British and Irish Lion. There's no better person to teach him than that.
He's,
So if he
he's
wants to, it's going to come down to whether he wants to do it or not.
100%. 100%. Yep. I reckon he's good enough around the paddock.
Absolutely.
And he wasn't
His work
that
rate-
bad at for his first stint at Tidehead.
Scored a try.
A Premier grade. Like,
And that try he scored was exactly what his post-contact meters.
No one else scores it.
No. Except for me.
yeah.
And folks. Shoot Shield, round 8. Yeah. Uni 45, South 12. South are shocking, mate.
Gone.
North's 28, West Harbour 10. Eastwood 29. Pumped the 2 Blues to 7.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
The wheels falling
Randwick, big win, 34-21 over the Rats. Hunter getting up over East, 29-25. Hunter.
Hunter would be a top 2, wouldn't they? Top 4?
Top 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Top of the table, you've got Eastwood and Manly, and then you've got...
Have they had a lot of games at home? I haven't followed it as much, and I'm not as rude as Aiden, but have they played a lot at home?
The last couple games have been at home, but they dusted, was it...
They've been winning away.
They dusted someone away a couple of weeks ago, didn't they? Who was it?
Yeah, they're the
Can't
real
remember.
deal. I don't think it's just because people having to travel. Like
Yeah,
they're
they got some good
legitimately,
recruits.
top 16.
That's awesome.
And speaking of a side that is just absolutely killing it, Manly 35 over Gordon 29. Mate, Manly are flying. Absolutely flying, Freeney. Like, they are just
We're
so
going to
red
battle
hot.
the beaches, mate.
We are definitely... Mate, I was saying, let's go down and do a live PAC show on the Friday night.
Freens, Jabor, and Fogues. The original crew, right?
It's Friday night, but we're going to wrap it up. I reckon half an hour max. While sinking tins. Yeah, we'll do it. Let's do it. We're doing it.
Mate,
Have you got Fogues' number?
I do
Jabor?
actually.
Okay, you got to stop.
I call him Fogues. That's because I'm the only one who actually knows his name's Nick Fogarty.
I do.
You do pronounce everyone's names extremely well.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Except for that.
Thank you very much, Dylan.
The winger from One Pacifica. Yeah.
Oh,
Dallum.
Naraya Fumai.
Yeah. Dallum Murphy.
Alrighty. That's all the footy from that round. Rugby watch. Who's your rugby of the round there, Dal?
Josh Fluke, sadly, dislocated his shoulder.
Second recon in 2 years.
Yeah, different arm, or different shoulder, sorry.
Oh, well, that's okay then.
I was
Oh,
worried
thank
there.
God.
So he's gone the double
It's
dislocated.
better, yeah. So dislocated, very similar scenarios, but I thought he was looking exceptional. He was a guy who would, as I said earlier, would really benefit from that Australia race.
100%. Because he's leadership too.
Yeah.
Like, he's Fraser McWright has this... He's a bit different. Fraser's sort of a quite boisterous sort of leader by way of, like, geez, the boys up, whereas Flukey's a bit more, I guess, he's a quieter
Smooth,
operator, but a
mate.
very, very astute footballer.
Very, just silky. Yeah.
And he's deceptively tough.
And
Yeah.
fast.
And quick, yeah.
That
He,
try.
And cute.
yeah.
Your rugby.
You're a bit
He is a bit of a cutie. You got to give it up.
I've gone
to him.
with an amateur rugby player.
Okay.
I've gone with someone that was over in Maggot Fest. I've gone with Jeff Barnhill. and if you guys,
Barnhole.
I think we might
Blow it out your
eventually
barnhole.
post something on the Insta, but
It's already up.
it's already up.
Yeah, it's up, mate.
Jeff Barnhill getting under the karaoke in front
With
of
the
boys.
fishnet nipple rings.
yeah, that was the
and,
best.
yeah,
And, you know-
and just belting out some screamo.
And that's just touring, right?
He's a real pig,
That's
man.
my rugby.
He rocked up with, I think, because he's bald,
Yeah.
but he's got the mullet out
Yeah.
the back and the big Fu Manchu mustache, and he's
I like that. Just one
kind of
snap.
looks like me, just like sloppy rig,
Yeah.
hairy ass,
And loves it,
just
embraces it.
real munter. It's so good. Your rugby friends,
Nick White.
Nick White.
Yeah, just a little pain in the
yeah,
ass,
yeah,
and I
yeah.
love it. I love it. He just in everyone's face, doesn't care how big they are. He just full halfback.
Is he your starting Wallaby halfback?
No. Tate
Who is Tate?
Yeah. Tate. Yep, Tate.
You reckon?
Yeah. He just keeps that tempo up, in my opinion. I reckon he's the one. He's the man for the
He
job.
is the man.
Anyone else? What do you reckon?
I'll probably go Tate with Nick White. Yeah,
On the bench.
closing,
At the same time.
closing out the game. At the same time, two of them
Half Nick.
wrestling, like we saw in the video. What are you, Jabor? Rugby.
Josh Fenner, mate. He was ridiculous, mate. And as I said, I reckon he deserves a Super Rugby contract. He's since he's come back sort of full time, he's bulked up, and he has been awesome. And I think there's just a much higher ceiling than some of the current Red squad members or extended squad members, in my opinion.
Is he signed with any? He went over to England, didn't he?
So he went to Leicester, right?
Yeah.
Then came back, and then I think he went back over maybe,
Yeah.
and now he's back again.
Keep him. Sign him.
As
Yeah,
they
they
should.
need to.
Zanga
You're
Scott
100%
Young's out
correct.
the door, man.
They should. They 100%
Yeah.
should.
Because otherwise he'll be
Someone
bloody-
should.
Yeah, he'll be thereabouts in the England system soon.
Oh, mate, he's so good, man. So good. And since he's bulked up, he has been... Just
Dell,
unbelievable.
get Josh Fenner. Sign Josh Fenner. That was good. I like it.
Good timing.
Vogue, question mark.
Folks. All right, well, that rounds out this week's episode of the PAC Show. Thanks very much, Dallin, Big Fat Das, and Freeney for joining us. Zachy
Mahalo.
Boy on the ones and twos.
Locals only, bro.
Couldn't have done it without you. As per usual, be sure to tune in next week. If you've got any questions or comments that you want to ask the boys, be sure to swing them our way.
If you've got any tips for asking questions, DM me, because I panic every week.
If you could just
I'm
send
going to
some
keep
his
a
way.
more dot point, I think, because I had a bit of a paragraph for each one, and then I got to it, and I fucked up. Sorry. Yeah. Love you all.
But yeah, that's this week's episode. Tune in next week. See you later.